Good morning, everybody. Oh my goodness. I always do these things in the wrong order. Let me turn off my music. Good morning. What's up? I'm Little Green Kitty. Welcome to the Daily Greens. We don't have any impeachment hearings or anything else to stream this morning. It doesn't seem like anyway. I keep looking to see if there's any streams that come up from any different committees. If there are any that come up, then we will probably stream them. But I figured that I would just go over a few press releases. And so, if you haven't already, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of our wonderful content that we come out with and all of the press releases that we're trying to get out there to the people. And if you could hit that little thumbs up button, we would really appreciate it. It always helps the algorithms, as everybody knows. And if you want more press releases, if you want more sources for information to do your own material, you can go to thedailygreens.org, and we have big, long press release lists on there that you can take and just do whatever you want with. You can go make your own material and your own videos if you want. We are all about getting information to the people. And you can also follow us on Twitter at dailygreensnips is our handle. All right, so one of our first stories is, okay, we're going to start over on this side. And if you're looking for these, you can find some of these links in the description box below. Or you can go to our website, thedailygreens.org, as I mentioned, which looks like this. And you just scroll on down until you see the press release lists. And then you just click, and then you see all the links. So there you go. And some of these, though, are in the description box below because I haven't had a chance to put them on a blog post yet. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about is a USDA notice. And this is for Mesa Bay LLC, recalls salad products due to possible E. coli contamination. Okay, so this is dated November 21st, 2019. I just saw it in my inbox this morning, so I'm sorry I haven't posted anything else about it yet. We like to, as soon as we see these or notice these, we like to try to get them out to you. But of course, you know, with all the press releases, it's kind of difficult sometimes. So if you could help us spread the word about this stuff, we would much appreciate it. All right, Mesa Bay LLC, a Swedesboro, New Jersey establishment, is recalling approximately 73,233 pounds of salad products, oh my goodness, that contain meat or poultry because the lettuce ingredient may be contaminated with E. coli. Okay, so the E. coli is on the lettuce. It's not on the meat or poultry. There have been a lot of issues with lettuce lately, you guys, different kinds of romaine lettuce especially. Okay, and they have products subject to the recall can be found on this spreadsheet, and you can click on that link there. The products subject to recall bear establishment number EST 18502B inside the USDA mark of inspection. Okay, so that's EST 18502B. These items were shipped to distribution locations in Alabama, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Virginia, and Wisconsin. So a bunch of places. Oh my goodness. Good luck, you guys, getting all of this stuff recalled. Seriously, I wish you the best of luck. As part of a foodborne illness outbreak investigation, the Maryland Department of Health collected an unopened package of Ready Pack Bistro chicken raised without antibiotics Caesar salad. Okay, that's a long name, but so it's one of those ready-to-eat salads with chicken, and the chicken is claimed to be raised without antibiotics, and is a Caesar salad type that they grabbed for a sampling. The state collected and tested individual ingredients in the salad, and the lettuce tested positive for E. coli. All products of the same lot of lettuce are included in the recall. Most people infected with STEC0157H7 develop diarrhea, often bloody and vomiting. Wonderful! Some illnesses last longer and can be more severe. Infection is usually diagnosed by testing the stool sample. Vigorous rehydration and other supportive care is the usual treatment. Antibiotic treatment is generally not recommended. Most people recover within a week, but rarely some develop a more severe infection. All right, so it can be kind of serious, and then it goes on to mention that people with kidney issues and stuff, and the children under the age of 5, older people and everything, it can definitely be more dangerous too. So if you have eaten any, ready-to-eat salad things recently, then you might want to make sure it hasn't been from that company. Or if you're going to the store, if you're somebody that gets a lot of those ready-to-eat things, make sure you keep an eye out for that, and make sure that, send a text to somebody else that you know that might get that kind of stuff. I know my parents, for example, they like all that ready-made salad stuff because they're trying to eat healthier, and for them it's easier to just buy the little ready-made thing. And a lot of people are doing that nowadays, especially because they have as they mentioned, antibiotic-free raised chicken and stuff, the more organic kinds, and in the nice little salad that's convenient. So a lot of course, health food people are going to be going and getting that stuff. So if you know any health nuts, if you're a health nut, keep an eye out for these kinds of things, and make a note, maybe write it down on your grocery list to check the labels and make sure that you don't end up getting sick with E. coli. All right, on to the next story. All right, California resident pleads guilty to telemarketing conspiracy to defraud U.S. consumers. Angel Armando Adrienzen, 45, of California, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit mail fraud and wire fraud for partnering with call centers in Peru that took money from U.S. Spanish-speaking victims through lies and threats. Adrienzen was arrested on September 16th and has remained incarcerated since then. I'm getting tongue-tied. Okie dokie, they talk about how they're vigorously going to pursue people. All right, it says protecting vulnerable and elderly members of our community from international fraud schemes is a top priority of the Department of Justice. There have been quite a few press releases coming out recently about these fraud schemes against elderly people. According to the court record, Adrienzen partnered with a series of Peruvian call centers that contacted U.S. consumers, many of whom were elderly and vulnerable, using internet-based telephone calls. These callers claimed to be attorneys or government representatives and falsely told victims that they had failed to pay for or receive delivery of products. The callers also falsely threatened victims with court proceedings, negative marks on their credit reports, imprisonment, or immigration consequences if they did not immediately pay for the purportedly delivered products and settlement fees. Many victims made monetary payments based on these baseless threats. Adrienzen received the victims' payments and shipped products to the victims for these call centers, knowing they used fraudulent and extortionate means to extract money from vulnerable victims. Shame on them. And then there's another link down here. It says, since President Trump signed the Bipartisan Elder Abuse Prevention and Prosecution Act into law, the Department of Justice has participated in hundreds of enforcement actions in criminal and civil cases that targeted or disproportionately affected seniors. I would agree with that. They have gone after a lot of people recently. In particular, this past March, the department announced the largest elder fraud enforcement action in American history, charging more than 260 defendants in a nationwide elder fraud sweep. The department has likewise conducted hundreds of trainings and outreach sessions across the country since the passage of the act. So there's a link right there where you can see more about everybody that they have been charging. And our next story is about a Chinese national who worked at Monsanto. I don't like Monsanto. They have been indicted on economic espionage charges. Haitao Zhang, 42, formerly of Chesterfield, Missouri, was indicted today by a federal grand jury on 1 count of conspiracy to commit economic espionage, 3 counts of economic espionage, 1 count of conspiracy to commit theft of trade secrets, and 3 counts of theft of trade secrets. According to the indictment, Zhang was employed by Monsanto and its subsidiary, the Climate Corporation, from 2008 to 2017, where he worked as an imaging scientist. 9 years. Monsanto and the Climate Corporation developed a digital online farming software platform that was used by farmers to collect, store, and visualize critical agricultural field data and increase and improve agricultural productivity for farmers. A critical component to the platform was a proprietary predictive algorithm referred to as the nutrient optimizer. Ooh, nutrient optimizer. Monsanto and the Climate Corporation consider the nutrient optimizer a valuable trade secret and their intellectual property. The indictment alleges another example of the Chinese government using talent plans to encourage employees to steal intellectual property from their U.S. employers. Zhang promoted himself to the Chinese government based on his experience at Monsanto. Within a year of being selected as a talent plan recruit, he quit his job, bought a one-way ticket to China, and was caught at the airport with a copy of the company's proprietary algorithm before he could spirit it away. The revolutionary technology at the core of this case represents both the best of American ingenuity and why the Chinese government is so desperate to steal it for themselves, said Assistant Director John Brown. The FBI is committed to working with a host of partners to stop individuals, like the defendant in this case, from engaging in economic espionage to acquire information and technology for a foreign government that is either unable or unwilling to compete on a level playing field. In 2017, the day after leaving employment with Monsanto, the Climate Corporation, Zhang bought a one-way plane ticket to China. Before he could board his flight, he was intercepted and seized with a copy of the Nutrient Optimizer. If convicted, the espionage charge carries up to 15 years in prison and a $5 million fine. Each theft of trade secrets carries up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Wow. There have been quite a few stories recently about I have all my graphics on, look at that, about Chinese nationals and stuff trying to steal trade secrets, or they will be partnering with the Chinese government while they're working here. There was one story in particular about somebody that was smuggling packages through John F. Kennedy Airport. There was the guy that worked at GE that stole turbine designs. There have been many other ones. There have been multi-level marketing schemes that have been going on, and so it's just a lot of stuff going on. Not that, I'm like bashing like China in particular, because there's a lot of different countries that do this, but it's something to be aware of, that this happens a lot. And so when you hear about somewhere else having like this latest greatest technology, and then you hear the government trying to like push back against them, with tariffs or with this or that, sometimes this is what's going on. They're not just being like, oh, you're being unfair, country, because we don't like that you're not paying us enough. Sometimes there's this stuff going on too, where the countries are trying to steal secrets, and so that's why our government is trying to crack down a little bit. Not that the tariffs necessarily work, but that's the justification behind it. So let's go on to our next story. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the launch of Project Guardian. Okay, so William Barr announced the launch of Project Guardian, a nationwide strategic plan to reduce gun violence. Now, there was a certain part that I wanted to play of this, and I forgot to skip ahead. So, oh, you know what? I think it is at the right spot. But the volume on here is super low. That's right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my microphone and I'm going to turn my desktop audio up all the way. And hopefully it will be loud enough because I have really powerful speakers, external speakers that I plug into my computer. And I had to turn those puppies up like all the way. Like I got a big old subwoofer and everything. I had to turn that up all the way in order to be able to hear this like when it was quiet in my house. So I hope you guys are able to hear it. If not, then I will just try to give you a little summary of what happens.
Which was not as consistently followed over the years as it should have been. In some administrations, it was de-emphasized. In some localities, some of the offices never really adhered to the program. What we're trying to do is take those principles that were successful in the past and revamp this program, resuscitate it, and double down on it nationwide. So this is a national program. It'll be in every district. And the idea is to use our existing gun laws to incapacitate the most dangerous violent offenders. Now, as most of you know, in our Project Safe Neighborhoods, which is one of the flagship programs of the Department of Justice, we do go after the armed felons. But that program is regionally based. We go after particular areas. This is, as I say, nationwide in all communities. We are going to apply it with special vigor where gun violence is the highest in places like Memphis. All agencies will be involved, but ATF will be leading this effort. There are going to be 5 basic elements to the program. The first is working closely with our state and local colleagues to identify violators, the people who we should be getting off the streets, and prosecuting in the federal system.
Alright, so I know you guys could not hear that. I turned on my other screen quickly to see if it was even audible, and it is not. That's how the government rolls, Alright, so pretty much what he's talking about is that there had already been some laws in place to try to combat gun violence and to try to track criminals, but there's too many people getting through the cracks and through the system, and not everywhere is implementing it the same. And so now what they are doing is they are requiring pretty much all the states to submit a whole bunch of information, and I have another press release that I'm going to pull up in a second to show you that. But it's under a good guise, right? Trying to bring down gun violence and everything, but he reiterates over and over again that it's about sharing information between all of these different departments, and that it's also that they can track who they want to, just to put it bluntly. That's what they're doing. All right, so I'm going to pull up the other press release that has to do with this because I found that very interesting, and this video is linked down below. even though, like I said, I know you can't really hear it, but if you plug in your headphones or something, you might be able to. I suggest just reading the subtitles, because that's how the government does things, man. They're always like that on their videos. All right, let me make sure. Yeah, I'm going to double check my microphone and make sure it's on. Okay, so the next press release that has to do with that is that William Barr announced the first ever semi-annual report on the Fix NICS Act. On November 14th, 2019, the Attorney General published and submitted to Congress the first semi-annual report on the Fix NICS Act. The report, required by the Fix NICS Act, passed by Congress in March 2018, reflects strong compliance with the Act and demonstrates renewed efforts at all levels of government to improve the sharing of records and information that are vital to the effective operation of the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. So, National Instant Criminal Background Check System. So they are going to have all of this data compiled somewhere. That way, if there's somebody that, runs your license plate or whatever, they have all of the appropriate information on you instead of just some local information. Because we have seen, even with people trying to go in or out of the country or to these certain secure locations, let's put it that way, that sometimes people end up getting through the cracks when they shouldn't. And so they are, of course, blaming it on the system, which means they need a bigger and better system which tracks everybody and everything more. An effective NICS system is critical to ensuring that we keep guns out of the hands of those who would not have them. I am encouraged by the results of this initial report. Fix NICS implementation is still in its infancy, yet already we are seeing great strides being made across government, state, tribal, and federal law enforcement to strengthen the NICS. So even sometimes you'll have, like on reservations and stuff, they have different kinds of laws and stuff, but they're saying with tribal, they're saying that even they are, pulling in on this. Given the preliminary data, it is clear that the Fix NICS Act is well on its way to doing exactly what it is intended to do, make the NICS better. The NICS is a computerized system designed to help determine if a person is disqualified from possessing or receiving firearms by conducting a search of available relevant records. The database searched by the NICS contained records with information relevant to the legal prohibition against firearm possession and purchasing under both federal and state law. To function effectively, the NICS must have access to complete, accurate, and timely information submitted by relevant agencies in all levels of government across the country, which reminded me of another part that I wanted to show in the video, but again, of course, you can't hear it. So one of the things that William Barr mentions in that video is that when somebody is not able to buy a firearm, then there must be a reason why. So if there's a reason why, then it could often be because they have some kind of outstanding criminal background, in which case they need to figure it out and go after them. Or they might have mental health issues, in which case they need to figure it out and go after them. So, that's a thing, which makes logical sense. Like, oh, you're allowed to have a firearm, so if you're not allowed to have a firearm, there must be a reason. You must be a bad person or a bad actor or something like that, right? So we're going to try to figure out what you're doing, and we're going to try to get you. So I wish that video had been louder. Darn it. Okay, let's keep reading through this. And of course, it's linked down below, so you can go, as I said, listen to it or read the subtitles, which you will probably have to do. Okay. The 2018 Fix NICS Act was passed to encourage government agencies to improve their record submission processes and further strengthen the NICS. So under this act, federal agencies must report certain record submission metrics to the Attorney General in semi-annual certifications and must establish 4-year implementation plans to improve records submissions. States and tribal governments are incentivized with grant preferences. I hope that the highlighty thing works on the OBS system, to establish 4-year implementation plans. So you know how states get grants for, public safety, or for, more public works kinds of systems. In fact, there have been quite a few press releases coming out recently about, this state or that state getting a large grant amount that has to do with public safety. And if you follow me on Twitter, if you follow my personal account, at Little Green Kitty on Twitter, then I had actually tweeted recently that I had said in a video, like, they're giving a lot of money towards public safety and securing the public, and I don't exactly know what securing the public means, but they're going to be very secure, which, yeah, apparently they're going to be very, very, very secure in the NICS system. Yay. I wonder what other kinds of grants they are trying to incentivize the states with. The Attorney General must publish and submit to Congress a semi-annual report on federal agency compliance with the Act, and must determine whether federal agencies, states, and Indian tribal governments have achieved substantial compliance with the benchmarks set out in their implementation plans. So this is all, it's not even a, like, this is a new thing that we're coming out with and we're working towards these goals. It's this is what must happen. This is what is going to happen now. This isn't something that they're thinking about doing in the future. It is already taking hold. All right, so report highlights, it says compliance. 45 federal agencies submitted certifications and implementation plans. All 50 states, the District of Columbia, and Indian tribal governments established implementation plans, and another 44 federal agencies certified they do not have any relevant records. There was an increase of over 6 million records in the 3 national databases searched with every NICS check, a 6.2% increase. In addition, there was a 15% increase in records in one of those databases, the NICS indices. The number of firearm retrieval referrals, where a prohibited person is able to purchase a firearm because the background check could not be concluded within 3 business days due to incomplete records, decreased each month in comparison to the same month during the previous year, for an average monthly decline of 102 FRRs. So, like I said, we're seeing them come out with new laws and new ways that they're trying to figure out how to plug up all of the holes, because what they have implemented in the past is not working properly. With the exception of June 2018, there was an increase in the percentage of NICS checks resulting in the immediate determination, not requiring a delay for further research, compared to the previous year. Specifically, there was an average increase of 0.51% for each month when compared to the same month of the previous year. And then they have a nice little graph here. From May 2019 through July 2019, the military branches enhanced their record reporting by increasing entries into the controlled substance category by 10%, with an overall increase in multiple categories of 2.63%. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection entered approximately 13 million illegal or unlawful alien records into the NICS indices on October 2019. Wow. And then it says the complete report can be accessed right down here at this link at the bottom. So if you want to do like a complete story on that, then go ahead and check out that link, because they have all kinds of good data and information on that stuff quite often. So thank you for sticking with me through these few press releases and few stories that I wanted to bring to you. Tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday, so I will probably not be streaming on those days. At least not on the Daily Greens channel. I might have some streams going on my personal channel, Little Green Kitty, so if you want to follow me over there, you can. And if you want to check out our website, thedailygreens.org, you will find a whole bunch of press releases. I will probably put another press release post on the website this weekend. So if you go on there, you can see a little spot right above our blog where you can put in an email address to subscribe to any updates that I put on the blog. And that way, whenever I come out with a new press release list, you can be the first to see it, and you can cover those stories right straight quick before the MSM even has a chance to, decide if they're going to ignore them or not. So thank you everybody for watching, and make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you could leave us a little thumbs up, we would really appreciate it. We appreciate all the support we get, even from the lurkers that don't participate. We see you and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. And but hey, if you don't like our coverage, if you don't like what we're doing here, you think my opinions are wrong, you can hit the thumb down. You can leave a comment down below and tell me how wrong I am if you want to. That's fine. We enjoy any kind of interaction. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's put on some tunes and we're going to get on with our day.